What if one ayah, just a single verse, had the power to completely transform your life? Not just inspire you for a moment, not just give you temporary peace, but truly shift the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you see everything around you. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a heart that feels lighter, a mind that feels clearer, and a soul that feels connected to something greater than all your worries combined. Every single day, we carry invisible weight, stress about the future, regrets from the past, pressure from this dunya that never seems to slow down. We chase goals, meet expectations, scroll endlessly, and yet, deep inside, there's this quiet emptiness that refuses to go away. It's like something is missing, but we can't quite explain what it is. Sometimes the anxiety hits without warning. You're sitting there, doing nothing, and suddenly your chest feels tight. Your thoughts race. You begin to question everything, your decisions, your purpose, even your worth. And in those moments, it feels like you're alone, like no one truly understands what's going on inside your heart. Other times, it's not even anxiety, it's just exhaustion. You're tired, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. You smile in front of people, you go about your day, but deep down, you feel drained. As if life is happening to you instead of for you. And the dunya doesn't make it easier. It constantly tells you that you need more. More success, more money, more validation, more recognition. It convinces you that happiness is always one step ahead, just one more achievement away. But no matter how much you gain, the feeling never fully settles. Have you ever wondered why? Why even when things seem okay on the outside, something still feels unsettled within? Why your heart keeps searching for something deeper, something more meaningful? The truth is, the heart was not created to be filled by the dunya. It was created to be connected to Allah. And when that connection weakens, everything else begins to feel heavy, confusing, and overwhelming. But here's the beautiful part. Allah, in His infinite mercy, did not leave us lost. He did not leave us to figure things out on our own. Instead, He gave us guidance, words that are timeless, powerful, and deeply healing. Within the Quran are ayat that don't just speak to the mind, but reach directly into the heart. Ayat that understand your pain better than you can explain it. Ayat that respond to your struggles even when you don't have the words to make dua. And today, we're going to reflect on one of those ayat. One ayah that, if you truly understand it, if you allow it to settle into your heart, can completely change the way you see your problems, your fears, and even your purpose in life. This ayah is not just meant to be recited. It's meant to be felt. It's meant to be lived. It's meant to become a lens through which you see everything differently. Because sometimes, the problem is not your situation. It's your perspective, and one ayah has the power to shift that perspective in a way nothing else can. Imagine looking at your struggles and no longer feeling defeated by them. Imagine facing your fears with a sense of calm instead of panic. Imagine trusting that everything happening in your life, even the painful parts, has a purpose. That transformation is possible, not through complicated strategies or endless searching, but through sincere reflection on the words of Allah. So as you continue watching, don't just listen with your ears. Listen with your heart. Allow yourself to be present in this moment. Put aside distractions, quiet the noise around you, and truly open yourself to what you're about to hear. Because by the end of this reflection, you may not just learn something new. Take a moment. You may begin to see your entire life. Let everything around you fade into the background. This is not just another moment in a video. This is a moment between you and the words of Allah. Try to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Close your eyes if you can. Breathe gently. Let your thoughts settle, and prepare yourself to receive something that has comforted hearts for generations, something that has lifted people from their lowest points and reminded them that they were never alone. Listen carefully. Let the words sink in. Don't rush past them. Feel their weight, feel their softness, feel the calm that comes with them. Now listen again. It is not repeated without reason. When Allah repeats something, it is not for emphasis alone. It is for reassurance, for certainty, for your heart to truly believe it. And once more, with hardship comes ease, not after hardship, not someday in the distant future, but with it, alongside it, within it. Take a second to really think about that. Every difficulty you are facing right now, every stress, every fear, every silent struggle, has ease attached to it, even if you cannot see it yet. Listen again, slowly. Repeat it in your own heart. Whisper it to yourself if you need to. Let it echo inside you. This is not just a verse, it is a promise from Allah. With hardship comes ease. Think about your current struggles. The ones that keep you up at night. The ones that make you feel overwhelmed. Now place this ayah over them, like a light entering darkness. This ayah is not telling you that life will never be hard. It's not denying your pain. It's acknowledging it, but at the same time, it is giving you hope that your hardship is never alone. Play it again in your mind. Notice how gentle the words feel. Notice how they don't rush you. They don't pressure you. They simply remind you, you are not stuck, you are not abandoned, and your difficulty is not permanent. Sometimes we hear words, but we don't truly listen. This is your chance to listen differently. To let this ayah go deeper than just sound, let it reach your. Even if your situation hasn't changed yet, even if nothing around you looks different, something inside you can begin to shift right now. Say it again, slowly. With hardship comes ease. Let it become a truth you carry. Let it become something you return to every time life feels heavy. Because this is not just a statement. This is a divine promise. And Allah never breaks his promises. Now, take a moment. Slow down. Let everything around you fade into the background. This is not just another moment in a video. This is a moment between you and the words of Allah. Try to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Close your eyes if you can. Breathe gently, let your thoughts settle, and prepare yourself to receive something that has comforted hearts for generations, something that has lifted people from their lowest points and reminded them that they were never alone. Listen carefully. Let the words sink in. Don't rush past them. Feel their weight, feel their softness, feel the calm that comes with them. Now listen again. It is not repeated without reason. When Allah repeats something, it is not for emphasis alone, it is for reassurance, for certainty, for your heart to truly believe it. And once more, with hardship comes ease, not after hardship, not someday in the distant future, but with it, alongside it, within it. Take a second to really think about that. Every difficulty you are facing right now, every stress, every fear, every silent struggle, has ease attached to it, even if you cannot see it yet. Listen again, slowly. Repeat it in your own heart. Whisper it to yourself if you need to. Let it echo inside you. This is not just a verse, it is a promise from Allah. With hardship comes ease. Think about your current struggles. The ones that keep you up at night. The ones that make you feel overwhelmed. Now place this ayah over them, like a light entering darkness. This ayah is not telling you that life will never be hard. It's not denying your pain. It's acknowledging it, but at the same time, it is giving you hope that your hardship is never alone. Play it again in your mind. Notice how gentle the words feel. Notice how they don't rush you. They don't pressure you. They simply remind you, you are not stuck, you are not abandoned, and your difficulty is not permanent. Sometimes we hear words, but we don't truly listen. This is your chance to listen differently. To let this ayah go deeper than just sound, let it reach your. Even if your situation hasn't changed yet, even if nothing around you looks different, something inside you can begin to shift right now. Say it again, slowly. With hardship comes ease. Let it become a truth you carry. Let it become something you return to every time life feels heavy. Because this is not just a statement. This is a divine promise. And Allah never breaks his promises. To truly feel the depth of this ayah, we need to step back in time. Because these words were not revealed in comfort. They were not sent down in a moment of ease or stability. They came during one of the most emotionally heavy periods in the life of the Prophet. This was a time when the Prophet had already endured years of rejection. He had been mocked, insulted, and called names by his own people. The message he carried, the truth, was not being accepted easily. Instead, it was being resisted with hostility and pain. But then came a period even more difficult, a year so heavy that it became known as the Year of Sorrow. In that single year, the Prophet lost two of the greatest sources of support in his life, his beloved wife Khadijah, who had always comforted him, and his uncle Abu Talib, who had protected him from harm. Imagine that for a moment, losing the one who supported you emotionally and the one who protected you physically, both at once. The loneliness, the vulnerability, the weight of continuing a mission without those pillars must have been overwhelming. And it didn't stop there. When the Prophet went to Taif, hoping to find people who would listen, he was rejected in the harshest way. He was not just turned away, he was stoned. Bleeding, wounded, and emotionally drained, he walked away from that city carrying pain that most of us can't even begin to imagine. It was in the midst of this kind of hardship, real, deep, human struggle, that Allah revealed these words, with hardship comes ease. Think about that. This ayah was not revealed to someone living an easy life. It was revealed to the best of creation during one of the hardest chapters of his life. And that changes everything, because it means this ayah is not theoretical. It is not abstract. It is not meant only for small problems. It was sent down for moments of deep pain, real grief, and overwhelming difficulty. When Allah says, "With hardship comes ease," He is speaking to a heart that was grieving. A heart that was carrying loss, rejection, and pressure, all at once. And if this message was enough to comfort the Prophet in those moments, then what does that mean for us? It means your struggle, no matter how heavy it feels, is not beyond the scope of this ayah. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, financial pressure, family problems, loneliness, or silent battles no one else sees, this ayah applies to you just as much. Sometimes we think our problems are too complicated, too unique, too overwhelming. We feel like no one could possibly understand what we're going through. But Allah understands, and He revealed words that are timeless, words that reach across generations and speak directly to hearts, no matter the era. The companions who heard this ayah were also going through immense hardship. Many of them were being tortured for their faith. Some were separated from their families. Some lost everything they had just to hold onto their belief. And yet, this ayah became a source of strength for them. Not because their problems disappeared instantly, but because their perspective changed. They began to see their hardship differently. They began to trust that their pain was not meaningless, that their struggle was not wasted, that ease was already written alongside what they were going through. And that is the same shift we need today. We may not be facing the exact same challenges, but the feeling of hardship is something every human understands. The stress, the pressure, the uncertainty, it's all part of our modern reality. But just like then, Allah's words still apply now. Your is not random, your pain is not unnoticed, and your hardship is never alone. Because just as Allah promised then, He promises now, with hardship comes ease. Now let's go deeper, because this ayah is not just comforting, it is teaching you something profound about how life actually works. Allah does not say that hardship will disappear. He does not say that life will suddenly become easy. Instead, He is teaching you a different way to understand your struggles. Look closely at the words, "With hardship comes ease." Not after, not eventually, not somewhere far in the future, but with it. This means that at the very moment you are experiencing difficulty, ease is already present, hidden, subtle, maybe unseen, but real. And that changes everything, because most of us live with the assumption that we have to survive the pain first, and only then will relief come. We tell ourselves, one day things will get better. But Allah is telling you, something is already better, even now, even if you cannot recognize it yet. This ayah is shifting your awareness. It is teaching you that hardship and ease are not opposites that take turns. They are companions. They exist together, side by side, intertwined in ways you may not immediately understand. Sometimes the ease is in strength you didn't know you had. Sometimes it is in the people Allah sends into your life. Sometimes it is in the lessons you learn, the sins that are forgiven, or the closeness you develop with Allah during your lowest moments. And sometimes, the ease is simply that your heart is still beating, still turning back to Him, still searching for meaning. Think about that. The very struggle you are trying to escape might be the thing bringing you closer to Allah. The pain you wish would disappear might be the reason your du'as are more sincere than ever before. Without hardship, would you call upon Allah the same way? Would you feel you're for Him the same way? This ayah is not just about relief, it is about transformation. Allah is not only easing your situation, He is shaping your heart through it. Every moment of patience is building something inside you. Every tear that falls is witnessed. Every silent dua is heard. Nothing is wasted, and there is something even deeper here. In the Arabic language, the word, the hardship, comes with al, which makes it specific. It refers to a particular hardship, but ease comes in an indefinite form, meaning it is not limited. Scholars have reflected on this and said, one hardship is always accompanied by multiple forms of ease. Not just one way out, not just one relief, but many forms of ease surrounding a single difficulty. So what does that mean for you? It means your problem is not bigger than your relief. Your struggle is not greater than what Allah has already written for you in terms of ease. Even if you feel surrounded by darkness, there are doors of light you cannot yet see. And here's the reality we often miss. Sometimes the ease is delayed from our perspective, but perfectly timed in Allah's wisdom. Because if it came too early, you would not grow. If it came too late, you would break. But Allah knows exactly when your heart needs it, exactly when you are ready for it, exactly when it will impact you the most. So when you feel like nothing is changing, remind yourself, this ayah is not failing. Your understanding is just still unfolding. There is ease in your life right now that you have not noticed. There is mercy around you that you have not recognized. There are blessings hidden inside your struggle that will only make sense later. And one day, you will look back and realize, the hardship was not just something you went through. It was something that carried you to a version of yourself you could have never reached without it. Now let's bring this ayah into your real life. Not as something you just listen to, but something you actually live. Think about stress, the kind that sits on your shoulders from the moment you wake up. Deadlines, responsibilities, expectations, the feeling that you're constantly behind, constantly trying to catch up with life. It feels like pressure is closing in from every direction. But where is the ease in that? Sometimes, the ease is in how that stress pushes you to grow. It forces you to prioritize. It teaches you discipline. It shows you what truly matters and what doesn't. Without that pressure, you might stay stuck, comfortable, but not progressing. And sometimes, the ease is much simpler. It's in the small moments Allah gives you in between the chaos, a quiet breath, a short pause, a moment of clarity. Those are not random. That is ease placed your hardship. Now think about failure. That moment when something didn't work out. When you tried your best and still fell short. Maybe it was an exam, a job opportunity, a relationship, or something deeply personal. Failure has a way of making you question yourself. It whispers, you're not good enough. But this ayah changes that narrative completely. Because what if that failure was actually a form of protection? What if Allah was redirecting you away from something that would have harmed you later? What if that closed door was actually saving you from a path that was never meant for you? The ease, in that moment, is not always visible. But it exists. It might be in the lessons you learn, the resilience you build, or the new direction that opens up, one you never would have explored if things had gone your way. And then there is anxiety. The quiet, heavy kind. The kind that doesn't always have a clear reason. Your mind keeps racing, thinking about the future, imagining worst-case scenarios, feeling uncertain about what's coming next. It can feel overwhelming, like you're losing control, but this ayah gently reminds you, you were never in control to begin with. And that realization is actually ease. Because when you truly understand that Allah is in control, something shifts inside you. You stop carrying a weight that was never yours to carry. You begin to trust instead of panic. You begin to breathe instead of overthink. The ease in anxiety is tawakkul, the ability to rely on Allah even when you don't understand what's happening. It's the calm that slowly replaces fear when you remind yourself, Allah knows what I don't. Think about a moment when you were extremely worried about something, but later, it worked out in a way you never expected. At that time, you couldn't see the ease. You could only feel the stress. But now, looking back, you realize, it was always there. And that is exactly how this ayah works. It doesn't always remove your struggle instantly. But it changes how you carry it. It changes how you see it. It changes what it does to your heart. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, don't just ask, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, where is the ease in this moment? Because Allah has already promised, it is there, even if you have to look a little deeper to find it. Now the question becomes, how do you actually live this ayah every single day? Because it's one thing to hear it, to feel it in a moment, but it's another thing to carry it with you when life gets real again. Start with hardship. The next time you are going through something difficult, pause. Don't react immediately. Don't let your thoughts spiral. Instead, bring this ayah into that exact moment. Say it quietly to yourself. With hardship comes ease. Not as empty words, but as a reminder. Then ask yourself a different question. Not, why is this happening? But, where could the ease be in this? Train your mind to look for it. Maybe it's in what you're learning. Maybe it's in how you're becoming stronger. Maybe it's in how this situation is pulling you closer to Allah. Then take one small action. Not 10 steps, just one. Because ease often reveals itself through movement, not overthinking. Now think about success. Most people only turn to Allah when things are hard. But this ayah is just as important when life is going well. Because ease itself is also a test. When something good happens, when you succeed, when doors open, when life feels smooth, remind yourself that this ease came with previous hardship. It didn't come randomly. This builds gratitude. Instead of becoming distracted by success, you become grounded. You recognize Allah's mercy in your journey. And you protect your heart from thinking you achieved everything on your own. So in moments of ease, say, this is from Allah. And just like hardship didn't last forever, neither will this moment. So I will use it well. Now, decision making. This ayah gives you a completely different mindset when you're confused or unsure about what to do. When facing a difficult choice, don't only look at what seems easy on the surface. Sometimes the path that looks harder in the beginning carries more ease in the long run. And sometimes what feels easy now leads to greater hardship later. So instead of asking, what is easiest right now? Ask, where is Allah guiding me, even if it feels uncomfortable? Pray istikhara, reflect, take your step, and trust that wherever hardship appears, ease is already written beside it. This removes fear, because you stop waiting for a perfect path. You understand that no matter which path you take, challenges will come, but so will ease. And that gives you courage to move forward. Now let's make this practical. Every morning, remind yourself of this ayah before your day begins. Even if it's just for a few seconds, set the tone for your mindset. During the day, whenever something stressful happens, pause and repeat it again. Let it interrupt your negative thoughts. At night, reflect, look back at your day and ask yourself, where did I see ease today? Even in small things, a conversation, a solution, a moment of peace. This builds awareness, and over time, something powerful happens. You stop seeing life as a series of problems, and you start seeing it as a journey of hidden mercy. This ayah becomes more than just something you remember. It becomes something you live, something that steadies you in hardship, humbles you in ease, and guides you in every decision you make. And when that happens, your entire relationship with life begins to change. There is a moment in the life of the Prophet that perfectly reflects the meaning of this ayah, not just in words, but in lived reality. After years of rejection in Makkah, after losing Khadijah and Abu Talib, the Prophet traveled to Taif with hope in his heart. Hope that maybe, just maybe, these people would listen, that they would accept the message, that they would offer support. But what happened instead was something deeply painful. Not only did they reject him, they turned the children and the foolish among them against him. They mocked him, they chased him out of the city, and as he tried to leave, they threw stones at him, so much so that his blessed feet were bleeding, his body wounded, and his heart carrying a weight beyond physical pain. Imagine that moment, alone, rejected, injured, exhausted. From the outside, it looked like nothing good could possibly come from this. He found a place to rest, and in that moment of vulnerability, he turned to Allah. Not with anger, not with complaint against his Lord, but with humility, with sincerity, with a dua that came from the deepest part of his heart. He said, in essence, that if Allah is not displeased with him, then he does not mind what he is going through. Think about that level of trust. And this is where the ayah comes alive. Because right after this moment of extreme hardship, ease began to unfold. Not in a way anyone expected. Not immediately in Taif, but soon after, Allah opened doors that would change the course of history. The Prophet met people who would later accept Islam. The of Isra and Miraj took place, a journey that honored him in a way no human had ever been honored before. And eventually, the doors of Medina opened, where Islam would not just survive, but flourish. But here's the powerful part. While the stones were being thrown, while the pain was real, while the rejection was happening, the ease had already begun its journey toward him. He just couldn't see it yet. And this is exactly what this ayah teaches you. That your moment of Taif, the moment that feels like your lowest point, is not the end of your story. It might actually be the beginning of something greater. Right now, you might be in a place where things are not going your way. Where doors are closing, where people are disappointing you, where life feels heavier than you expected. And just like in Taif, it might feel like nothing good is coming from it. But what if ease is already on its way to you? What if the very thing you are struggling with right now is preparing you for something you cannot yet imagine? What if you're in this moment, your patience, your trust, is setting the foundation for a future you would never reach without this pain? The Prophet did not see the full picture in Taif. But Allah did, and the same is true for you. You see the moment, Allah sees the outcome. You feel the pain, Allah knows the purpose. So hold on, because, with hardship comes ease, is not just a verse you recite. It is a reality that unfolds, even when you cannot see it yet. And just like Taif was not the end, your story is not over either. At this point, something should begin to change inside you. Not your situation, not your external circumstances, but your mindset. Because before this ayah, most of us see life in a very limited way. When something goes wrong, we immediately think, this is bad. When things become difficult, we assume, this shouldn't be happening. And when we feel pain, we start questioning everything, our path, our purpose, even Allah's plan. This is the old way of thinking. A way of thinking that is built on control, on immediate results, on seeing only what is in front of us. But this ayah breaks that completely. It introduces a new way of thinking, one that is deeper, calmer, and rooted in trust. Now, instead of seeing problems as pure negativity, You begin to see them as part of a bigger design. Before, a delay would frustrate you. Now, it makes you pause and reflect. Maybe there is wisdom in this timing. Before, a hardship would feel like a punishment. Now, it feels like a process. A process of growth, a process of purification, a process of being shaped into someone stronger, closer to Allah, more aware of what truly matters. This ayah shifts your perspective on problems completely. Your problems don't disappear, but they lose their power to break you. Because now, every time hardship appears, your heart immediately responds with a different thought. There is ease here too. And that single thought changes everything. It softens the panic, it gives you space to breathe. Then comes trust in Allah. Before, trust was conditional. You trusted Allah when things were going your way, when life made sense, when outcomes matched your expectations. But when things became unclear, when life didn't go as planned, that trust would shake. Now, this ayah rebuilds that trust on something stronger. Not on outcomes, but on certainty. Certainty that Allah's promise is true. Certainty that even when you don't understand, He knows. Certainty that even when you cannot see the ease, it is already written. This kind of trust is different. It is quiet, it is steady, it doesn't need constant reassurance from the outside world. It comes from within, and then, patience and hope begin to transform. Before, patience felt like waiting, like something heavy you had to force yourself into. It felt passive, like you were stuck, but now, patience becomes active. It becomes a state of that is full of expectation, not of hardship continuing, but of ease unfolding. Hope becomes stronger. Not because your situation changed, but because your understanding changed. You are no longer hoping blindly. You are hoping based on a promise from Allah. And that kind of hope is unbreakable. Even in your lowest moments, there is still light. Even in your confusion, there is still direction. Even in your pain, there is still purpose. This is the mindset shift this ayah creates. From fear to calm, from doubt to trust, from despair to hope. And once this shift happens, you don't experience life the same way anymore. The same problems may exist. The same challenges may come. But you are no longer the same person facing them. You are someone who knows. Someone who trusts. Someone who carries a quiet certainty in their heart. That no matter what happens, with hardship comes ease. When was the last time you truly trusted Allah, not just with your words, but with your heart? Think about that moment carefully. Was it during ease, when everything was going your way, or was it in hardship, when you had no other choice but to rely on Him? Many of us say we trust Allah, but when life becomes uncertain, our hearts begin to shake, and we start searching for control instead of surrender. Pause for a moment and reflect on your recent struggles. When something didn't go according to your plan, what was your first reaction? Did you immediately turn to Allah with calmness, or did anxiety take over your thoughts? This ayah invites you to examine not just your actions, but your internal state, your silent conversations, your fears, your hidden doubts. Ask yourself honestly, do you trust Allah's plan more than your own expectations? Because true trust means believing that even when things fall apart, they are actually falling into place. It means understanding that what you see as delay might actually be divine protection. Think about the hardships you are facing right now. Maybe it's stress about your future, financial pressure, emotional pain, or unanswered prayers. Now ask yourself, do you see these hardships as punishments, or as part of a greater plan designed specifically for you? When you go through difficulty, do you believe that ease is already on its way? Or do you feel stuck, as if things will never change? This is where your mindset reveals your level of faith. The ayah reminds you that ease is not just coming, it is already paired with your hardship. Reflect on your patience. Are you being patient in a way that brings you closer to Allah, or are you simply enduring while complaining inside? There is a difference between enduring and true patience. True patience carries hope, trust, and calmness. Think about your dua. When you raise your hands, do you ask with certainty that Allah will respond, or do you feel unsure deep inside? Your heart speaks louder than your words. Allah knows not just what you say, but how you feel when you say it. Consider your reaction to delay. When something you want doesn't happen immediately, do you lose motivation in worship? Do you question why Allah hasn't answered yet? Or do you remind yourself that Allah's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't match your schedule? Ask yourself, how often do you remember Allah during ease compared to hardship? Do you only turn to Him when life becomes difficult, or is He constantly present in your thoughts? True transformation happens when your connection with Allah is consistent, not conditional. Think about control. What are the things in your life that you are trying to control too tightly? Your future? Your provision? People's opinions? Now reflect. Has holding on tightly brought you peace, or more anxiety? Let your heart answer this question. What would happen if you truly let go and trusted Allah completely? Not partially, not conditionally, but fully. What fears would disappear? What burdens would feel lighter? Reflect on your past. There were moments when you thought you wouldn't survive a situation, yet Allah brought you through it. At that time, you were worried, but now you see how things worked out. So why do you doubt Him about your current situation? Ask yourself. Are you focusing more on the problem, or on Allah's power? Because the size of your fear often depends on what you are looking at. When you focus only on the difficulty, it feels overwhelming. But when you focus on Allah, everything becomes manageable. Think deeply. Do you believe that Allah understands your pain better than anyone else? Even the pain you cannot explain, even the tears you hide, even the thoughts you cannot put into words, He knows all of it. So why hesitate to trust the one who knows you completely? Now pause. Take a deep breath. Let your heart slow down. Reflect quietly. What is one thing you can surrender to Allah right now? One worry, one fear, one burden. Just one. And in that moment of surrender, remind yourself, Allah is enough. And finally, ask yourself this. If you truly believed that every hardship comes with ease, how differently would you live your life starting today? Start by turning this moment into a real commitment, not just inspiration that fades after the video ends. The first thing you should do is choose this ayah as something personal. Something that belongs to your daily life, not just something you heard once. Memorizing it is not just about repeating words, it is about carrying it with you wherever you go. Say it slowly, reflect on each word, and allow it to settle in your heart until it becomes natural on your tongue, especially in moments when you need it the most. Make it part of your daily rhythm. Don't wait for a big hardship to remember it. Repeat it in your quiet moments, while driving, walking, or sitting alone. The goal is to build a connection so strong that your mind automatically turns to this ayah whenever stress or fear appears. Over time, you will notice that instead of reacting with panic, your heart responds with calmness because it has been trained to remember Allah first. Turn this ayah into a dua, not just a recitation. Speak to Allah using its meaning. When you feel overwhelmed, raise your hands and connect your situation directly to the message of the ayah. Ask Allah to make its promise real in your life, to open doors of ease, and to strengthen your trust. This transforms the ayah from something you hear into something you live and experience. Now focus on a simple and practical 3-step plan that you can follow every single day. First, recite the ayah in the morning and before sleeping, even if it's just once with full presence. This anchors your day with remembrance and keeps your heart aligned with its message. Second, pause during moments of stress and repeat it consciously. When anxiety rises, don't let your thoughts run uncontrolled. Interrupt them with the ayah. Say it slowly, breathe, and remind yourself that what you are facing is not without purpose or relief. Third, act upon it with trust. This means making decisions with the belief that Allah's plan is better than your fear. Whether you are facing a difficult choice, uncertainty about the future, or emotional pain, let this ayah guide your reaction. Choose patience, choose hope, and move forward with reliance on Allah. As you practice these steps consistently, you will begin to notice a shift. Your reactions will change, you will feel lighter, and your perspective on hardship will no longer be the same. This is how transformation happens, not in one moment, but through small, sincere actions repeated daily. Before you move on, take a few seconds right now and make an intention. Not a vague one, but a clear promise to yourself. That this ayah will not just remain in this video, but will become part of who you are starting today. Take a moment now and return to where we started. This entire journey was about one powerful truth. Your hardship is never meaningless, and your ease is never far away. You've reflected on the ayah, understood its context, explored its depth, and seen how it applies to your life. But the most important question now is, what will you carry with you after this moment ends? Remember, this ayah is not just comforting words for difficult times. It is a lens through which you begin to see your entire life differently. Every delay, every struggle, every moment of uncertainty, it all starts to make sense when you truly believe that ease is already written alongside it. Now, let the ayah settle in your heart once more. Repeat it slowly, not just with your tongue, but with your full presence. Feel its meaning, let it echo inside you. Let it replace fear with calm, doubt with certainty, and heaviness with hope. When you walk away from this, don't leave the message behind. Carry it into your daily life. When you wake up, remember it. When things go wrong, return to it. When life feels overwhelming, hold on to it. This is how a single ayah transforms not just moments, but an entire mindset. There will be days when your faith feels strong, and days when it feels weak. Days when trusting Allah feels easy, and days when it feels difficult. But this ayah is your anchor. It reminds you that no matter how intense the storm feels, relief is already written into your story. So as we close, remind yourself one last time, this ayah is not just something you listen to, it is something you live. This ayah is not just words, it's a way of life. If this reminder touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video so more people can receive this message. Subscribe for more reminders that strengthen your connection with Allah. And share this with someone who might be struggling right now. You never know whose life it could change. And before you leave, take a second to write in the comments. What did this ayah make you feel? What changed inside you today? Your reflection might be the reason someone else finds hope. May Allah place ease in every hardship you face, and make this ayah a light in your life.